Welcome all. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Hang, episode 7 of season 2. 697, 80, 90 tour is what we're doing. I was bad in math. I got left back a few times. That's okay though. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Hang. I'm here to answer some questions tonight. We don't have the privilege of having a guest other than my esteemed colleague from LaGrange, Illinois. How about a hello to my friend Stephen Wright over there in the Midwest. What's up, Stephen?
Hey guys, how's it going? This fine Tuesday.
Fine Tuesday, August. It's in August.
Yeah. How'd it get to be August?
We blinked and I think I got gray hair. I became August. I became gray all of a sudden.
I think you got a couple.
Two tree.
Need a hat.
I got a tree. Yeah,
to a tree.
I gotta run into some shoe polish. The shoe polish I use to do my shoes, I'll throw in my head. Oh Lord. Oh man, it's all good.
How's the week going?
Good, man. Things are well. It's August in Florida. I mean, the lizards, the snakes, and the alligators are really, really, really happy.
Yeah.
Me, not so much. It's a little hot, you know. But hey, you know, that's what you get when you live down south in Florida right now. This is always the month I'm usually up north. I try to get up in New York in August. For the last couple of years, we haven't been able to do it, my wife and I. But you know, now I realize why we've done it. Where we've run north for these times. It's hot, but you know, it's good, man. Can't complain. What's going on over there? You guys good?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. It was nice outside today. A little cooler. Spent some time in the forest preserve with the pup.
Cool.
Yeah.
Apollo's doing well.
You know, he's got to get out and appease his Instagram followers, you know.
Got more Instagram than we do. A little dog for him. Actually, it's a big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep. But
awesome. Yeah. Well, we weren't, like I was saying earlier, Stephen, we were talking about possibly getting some guests, and we've been guest heavy. We had a funny, wonderful guitarist from Billy Joel's band last week, Tommy Burns, which was a hoot. We acted like little kids, so we had a good time. Mm-hmm. And the time before that, we got to play live with my band T.Ë.T.I, and before that, we had Andy Sashan on. And we're working on some new things, but tonight we wanted to kind of hit a lot of the ground ball questions that we haven't been able to touch on in the streams past that have been asked to us. Was that right? Asked to us that we kind of couldn't, we can only get so many questions in. Also, it would be a really long night, even though it's a 2-hour stream usually. Sometimes it's an hour, it depends. But, so there's a lot of different questions that we haven't answered, and they always pile up, and we always like to kind of address what needs to be addressed. Yeah. I like dresses, but I don't look good in a dress.
Hey, at least you're not in your Speedo tonight.
It's Florida. I could be any second. You never know. That's what's so fun. You never know what's going to happen.
It is the Tuesday Night Hang.
It's hanging. The alligators and the snakes. Look out for the snakes.
It took us 3 minutes to go downhill.
Yeah, it's just you and I. So
we got to entertain ourselves.
Yeah, I could sit in the box and be okay.
I mean, let's face it. This is really about us anyway. This is
me and I.
Yeah.
You and us.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yep. But no, to what you were saying, I've been collecting a bunch of questions for quite a while. I try to get to everything. But
like rocks, you collect rocks too. I heard.
Yeah,
questions and rocks.
Dude, you should see the rock collection in this house. But yeah, I've got questions, from episodes related to Billy. I've got questions related to trumpets, to mouthpieces, to Maynard, just to general music stuff. I got a little bit of everything. So even some non-musician stuff that came in. So.
Oh, nice. So if I don't know the answer to the question, can I lie?
Sure. Just do it convincingly.
Should I lie flat, like vertical, or horizontal?
Yeah, just instead of answering it, just plank.
I'll just lay down.
Yeah.
That would be my answer is I'm taking a nap. It's been a long day. Oh,
Oh man.
No, that's good. And I might, you know what, before we even get into the questions, this is our hang, and again, welcome. And Stephen's really great at getting it across platform on different social. What are we on, Stephen? We're on a whole bunch of different things now. Enlighten me, because I can't keep up with you, man.
Yeah, no, we've got your Facebook group page. We've got your personal page. We've got my personal page. We've got Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch.
What Twitch sounds like?
Yeah.
Sounds like it looks like this.
Yeah.
What is Twitch? Is it the gamer thing? What is that site? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of used for gaming. So it's it's tied to Amazon. So like
cool.
you can see like people with Amazon Prime have access to it. But yeah, it's typically it's a bunch of people playing Fortnite and things like that. There are a couple musicians, so I figured if we have the ability to be visible there, let's do it.
Well, I'm big enough I can be visible anywhere. Look how big I am. Come on.
We are not live on Google Earth.
Yeah. That was good.
I've been saving it.
Yeah, right. You've been saving it up, and you've been saving the questions and rock collection, so that's cool. And don't please, guys. Stephen and I really we started off. I'm going to go back a little bit and say that we started to stream off in April. I guess was it April?
Yeah, end of March, early April.
Okay, end of March. I know we talked about it in March. Maybe we. Yeah, so whenever we started it, we were expecting maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and just been great. There's been great feedback, and people kind of like coming into the hang, and we love doing it. So,
yeah,
part of the hang though is your responsibility in interweb land is to throw some questions out and say hello, and be visible, and it's just a hang. It's the community, So, and obviously we try to bring special guests in all the time. So if you can throw some questions at us, and before we get into questions, I got something I want to do. Can I do it?
Go for it.
Yeah, and the reason why is, and I'm showing myself a little bit. Don't worry, I'm not wearing a Speedo. I'm going to show myself.
Yeah, I thought we discussed this already.
Yeah, I know. I'm regressing, but it's okay. I've been with GR Technology Mouthpieces, who makes my mouthpieces, being a little technical tonight. I've been with GR for 20 years, coming on my 20th year, coming up very shortly. And Gary we always kind of like to mess around a little bit. This has been my standard model. JRW is what I've been playing now. Stephen has some of these available. The JRW is very cool, and this is the standard weight. But I've been messing around. When I'm not gigging right now, we obviously we haven't been gigging, so I've been messing around with some different weights and having fun. So Mr. GR, Gary Racky, made me this gorgeous. Shout out to Brian Scriver and Gary Racky with GR Technologies and Dousman, Wisconsin, Dousman, and Canada, It made me a heavyweight JRW. And I've always, for 20 years, I've always inquired about it. I knew he made a fat boy. He called it the Fat Boy. He says, "Oh, what do you want to call this mouthpiece?" Well, I said it's a JRW, but I don't know if you can see it. The Fatzo, Fatzo, because it has a JRW, which is based off a Z mouthpiece. But it's interesting. I haven't played, what's funny is I got the mouthpiece and I haven't had a gig. I played it for one day. My practice schedule's all over the place lately. I don't know how you guys are musicians. You don't have to be a musician to hang, so please hang with us. But being a musician, and you don't have a lot to do, it's very hard to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Inspired and want to play. I mean, I love playing, but to want to play, I'm a very goal-orientated musician. It's like, okay, I have a gig. I don't want to sound sad. Let me really get in the shed and practice. So I go through periods where I practice a lot and I don't practice much at all. And I got this mouthpiece. I wasn't playing much at all. I got a day on it, but I just want to throw this out because it's interesting sound-wise. So I'm going to play a tune. I'll give you guys a couple samples, some different things. It might not be pretty. Again, I have no chops on my face. I haven't even. I warmed up for about 5 minutes today, about half hour ago, right, Steven?
Yeah. Just real quick
Didn't play
before.
much. So, yeah. It could, what I'm saying, I'm already precursing this whole thing. It could be ugly, but you know, there's no secrets here. So, let me just give you 2 different sounds. Back. Okay, so I'm playing an old standard Stella by Starlight. Played the first 4 bars very loud, played the second 4 bars very soft, interchanged that. I'm going to do the same thing on a regular weight mouthpiece. I'm geeking out. No, man. You know, the heavyweight feels good. It's got it feels like it has a darker sound on my face. The regular weight has a more lively feel around my face and my presence. For some reason, I feel like I'm getting around a little bit better on my faster lines with the heavier weight mouthpiece. I don't know if it's mental or... Be curious what you guys think. I'm kind of using you guys as my peanut gallery. I like peanuts. Using you guys as my peanut gallery. So, anyway, that was an attempt of blowing on Stella by Starlight, which is a great standard. And like I said, excuse the lack of great definition of chord changes and what have you, but just trying to get it together. Anyway, Stephen, what do you like? Do you notice a difference in anything?
Yeah, I do. There's little things.
Does one suck less?
Well, I mean, we always grade on a sliding scale, so
Yeah, a suck scale. Hey, you really suck tonight. Tonight, not as bad.
hey, that was passable tonight.
I heard what you were going for.
Yeah, Yeah.
You didn't really make it, but I heard what you were going for.
Yep. Well, we actually have some people chiming in already.
All right, before the peanut gallery, I want the peanut gallery, and I'm very. What are you from those headphones and funky hat? What are you getting over there?
I like the core and the fullness of the sound of the Fatso.
Really?
I do. I like just knowing you and your playing. For me, it sounds like you're one mouthpiece you're definitely more comfortable on, I think.
Which one?
The JRW, the normal JRW, the normal
regular weight. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's the same. Let's tell everybody too. It's the same cup
Yep.
and everything. All the dimensions are right on the money. It's just the weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I don't know. It just sounds to me that way. But and then it's definitely the Fatso is definitely a little darker. So I don't know.
What are you hearing projection wise? I know it's hard to hear in projection.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to hear because it's coming through, compressed in through one software and then recompressed again through another. So it's a little bit hard to tell.
Okay.
But
interesting. Let's see where the peanut gallery sways our thing, because I know how it feels in my face, and it's amazing just the difference of resonance between the two.
Yeah. Let's see. Harry Nykamp says better sound on the Fatso, on the Fat Guy.
Thank you, Harry.
Let's see.
So
John
it
Furman.
didn't suck as bad. Harry didn't suck as bad.
John Furman says, love the sound of the heavyweight. Fuller and more core, certainly darker.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Luther Bird says the heavier mouthpiece slot's a little too much for me.
Okay. Thanks, Luther.
Luther says he likes some slop.
It slots it slots too much for him, the heavy mouthpiece?
Yeah. He's said he's saying he likes slop with a P. So I think he likes
slap.
He likes it to feel a little looser. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. I didn't hear the P in there.
Yeah.
I heard slot, S-L-O-T.
Yep. Ed Lynn says the heavyweight is much darker, but definitely still lights up when you push it.
Cool.
Andrew Keller.
Thanks, Ed.
Andrew.
Ed, hope your horn's doing good, Ed. It has a
Yeah.
CF horn 7? No. I think 7 or 9. Ed, tell us what horn you have. You have the CF horn, Warburton, and we appreciate the kind comments. You coming on all the time, Ed. Thank you, bro.
Andrew Carroll, I like the darker sounding one. That's the Fatso. Mike Zanny, both sounded good.
Hey, Mike, how's that ocean yacht? I actually been on a 53 ocean yacht. Friend of mine bought a 53, and we've been going through it and having fun with it, trying to get it. But yeah, Mike's my old Freeport boat buddy. Cool.
Richie says you sound amazing with any instrument. I call it talent.
Thank you, Richie. I appreciate it. I owe you $5, and I'll send it to you in pennies through Coinbase. Thanks, buddy. It's an inside joke.
Yeah. Noah chimed in saying there was no sucking at all.
Thank you, Noah.
Matt Litter, seems like a different approach in terms of improvisation with the different mouthpieces. Are you taking
it's the same moron? Matt, it's the same moron pressing the same 3 buttons. No approach. Matt, you get so analytical on me. Why do you get... I love you, Matt, but why do you get... I'm just wiggling my fingers, bro. I got nothing. Approach. I can't even approach. I can barely even approach tonight. No, I'm kidding you, Matt. Matt's a great educator and trumpet player in beautiful Gadsden, Alabama, Gadsden State. So, yeah, man, appreciate it, Matt. Hope all's well. I give you a hard time. Matt's been in the inner sanctum here and played my horns and mouthpieces. We always bust on each other.
Ed says he's got serial number 11 of the CF horn.
Oh, I was way off. At 11, cool.
Yep.
Hopefully it's working out for you, man.
Rob Costa, sounds great on everything. You could make a Fisher Price horn sound great.
It is a Fisher Price horn. It's a CF horn, Fisher. Nah, thanks, Costa. Hope you're doing well down in south of me, my man. I think you're. I know you're south of me, and so you're dealing with the heat. Try to stay cool.
Todd Schwartz is referencing your old Holbert mouthpiece.
What's up, Todd?
Loves your sound on that mouthpiece. Do you happen to remember that one?
Hey, Todd, was that the heavy max? Because I remember Todd, man. Todd and I go back to New York days. Todd and I worked at Sam Ash Music. Todd is one of the best trumpet players I know. Todd was on Buddy Rich's band, Todd Schwartz, from Queens, New York. Great trumpet player. His late father was a great trumpet player. We loved Lenny, I believe his name was. We loved Lenny. He was cool. And, man, Todd was on Buddy's band, like I said. And Todd and I used to work at Sam Ash Music on 48th Street. And we used to do the hang, and we were equipment junkies, and Todd would play on Broadway, and I wasn't on Broadway at that time. Todd was subbing on a million shows, had a million shows. But Todd, was that my heavy Holbert? Because I know I had a heavy one and I had a light one. I'd be curious of what you thought of that, because it's basically the same rim and cup, but Gary's done Gary's wizardness to it, if that's a word. Yeah, is magic. And, you know, all the math lines up and there's no discontinuity. As they say in the Midwest, discontinuities. There's no good, discontinuities.
Is that what we say?
Annuities. That's how we say it in New York. Annuities. Hey, there's no discontinuities in there. You know? Whatever, I don't know. But yeah, I'm curious, Todd, if the Holbert was like a heavy mass mouthpiece. So, man, you just brought me back to 22 years ago. Wow.
Let's see.
Hope you're well, Todd.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Todd. Mike Evan says, Carl, I'm digging the Jazz Rockstar. Had it for a few weeks. Think this is going to be a lot better than the old Schilke mouthpiece that it had replaced.
All right, Mike. That's great news.
Mike.
Yeah, Stephen. That's great, brother. I know Stephen is very involved with the GR ordering, and sometimes even, well, I don't know what stock we have anymore right now. I know last month we had a few of them.
Yeah, but, we've got a handful left. I've got a couple. Got a couple Jazz, a couple JRW, yeah, some fish lips, a Z, a couple flugel.
Yeah, but they're not there. They're on order. So.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I've got them on order.
I mean, I think you only have one of each now.
Yeah, I've got one of each except for the newest one, the JRW. I got two of those left.
Cool. Yeah. Well, you know, Steven sends them out from the Midwest. But we appreciate it, Mike. I'm glad it's working out. Schilke makes great stuff, great products. But I'm just so enthralled with GR for years, for 20 years now. I play anything else. It just works for me. I'm very fortunate to have a working relationship with what's on my face.
Todd says that the Holbert was kind of a flat rim, like a 40 diameter, and it was gold plated.
So it wasn't the heavy one, Todd. It probably wasn't. Okay. So yeah, it was definitely, it's the same. Todd, it's funny because all the GRs have the flat rim. You know, they copied, well, they didn't, they copied and improved upon that flat rim. It's the size of a 3C diameter, a little shallower, but with the alpha angle with the Gary Radke, I'm getting geeky. With the Gary Radke, the way he measures the alpha angle on the top of the cup, there's a lot more room in there, so it feels bigger. I believe it's 666 is the cross, right, Stephen? Or 668?
For the JRW?
Yeah. Well, no, for the Jazz Rock.
For the Jazz Rockstar, I can tell you, like,
you don't have to tell me, man. I mean, it's just a number. But what I'm saying is basically the undercut of the mouthpiece. Old school talk, Todd, you'll understand. The undercut of the mouthpiece on this with the alpha angle feels very 3C-ish, even though it's just a little narrower, not by much. But it's very close to the 66 series GR standard 66, right, Stephen?
Yeah, the M, yeah.
66M, thank you.
Yeah, the diameter of all the mouthpieces is actually 625.
625. I was off. Where did I go? Where did I go with the devil thing? 666. I got problems.
You're thinking the R4 diameter, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The R4 diameter.
Yep.
Diameter. My diameter.
In a couple different places, but
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Everybody's hanging.
Let's see. Gary Greenfelder, the Fatso has more core, I believe. Would probably play a little cleaner and easier as you get used to it.
Thank you.
Comments?
Yeah, man. Love the peanut gallery. I love it. I'm learning.
Yeah.
When you stop learning, you're dead.
Yeah, and then we just got a bunch of people checking in, saying hello.
Hello. Thanks for hanging.
Come back to. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Well, cool. Well, that was a fun test. Now, yeah. Like Maynard Ferguson used to say, you're a 5-minute hero. You could play a whole 5 minutes without falling apart. That's when you know your chops are not well. You play you got good for about 4 or 5 minutes, but no stamina. I miss him. So, let's go on to, we've been dealing with some trumpet tech stuff, and we want to get back to the general questions that are not always music and gear related. And obviously a lot of it's music related, but hit me with a few things.
Yeah.
That been pressing for the last couple episodes we haven't got to.
Let me, we actually got a couple
I'm going to lean back.
Yeah, go for it. We actually got a couple in here already for tonight. Before I go to for the ones from the other.
Nice.
Let's see. Hey, Ozzy Melendez checking in, saying hey.
Ozbone, miss you, Papa. Got to come south and hang out with me and the alligators. Bite your ass.
Dan actually put a nice comment here. Everyone on the feed should know that Carl personally came out to my posse at both Gillette Stadium and Fenway when he was with Billy to my seats to hang before the gig. Made everybody feel special. I'll never forget that. Thanks.
Because you paid me, Dan. You paid me a lot of money. That's what you're leaving out. You paid me in cookies and beer. That's a combination, man. Anybody would come out for that, bro. No, I'm kidding. Dan, thank you for the nice comments. All serious, all joking aside, it's always good to see you. And Gillette Stadium was a fun gig. I'm glad you came out to that. You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Max is checking in. Miss you, buddy, from Max Louvier.
Maxie, what's up, brother? Yeah, it's been a while. I'll tell you what. Hanging out with those alligators down the bayou. Lamar, what are you doing with Lamar down there? Yeah, no, it's been a while, man. I missed laughing with you. Hope all's well, and here we are. Just I'm making stuff up as we go along, brother.
Rob is asking, will we get to see Ted-I live from Florida again soon?
Thanks, Rob. Steven, we'll talk about it. We had a nice, about two weeks ago, we had a live feed from the studio, and that was a real nice thing, man. It was nice because the rhythm section, the Ted-I rhythm section came in, and there was a nice donation for the rhythm section. It was good, and those guys played their butts off. And we had a really fun time. I think, Steven, since you're the tech guy, I know we want to kind of clean up some camera stuff.
Yeah.
Because the studio had a great sound. The guys over at the studio did a great job over at All Access Recording. But I know we want to clean some. So the short answer is yes, we want to do it. Yeah. I'd like to do it monthly. So in the next 2 weeks, I think we should try to get on it. What do you think, Steven?
Yeah, I think so. It's just some of the stuff we just want to make sure that you guys have the best experience watching it too. So just making sure that we utilize the internet the best we can there. Do we sacrifice having an extra camera, to have a better internet connection? Just little things like that we've been playing around with and learning. So, yeah. But yeah, I think it was a fun time. I got a lot of great feedback on it. So
cool. I know the guys want to do it. I know we all had a positive experience. The studio really, Doug Johnson, Ronnie D, and Mike MacArthur, the proprietors. Wow, I sound official tonight. Proprietors. Where the hell did that word come from? I surprised myself. I don't know how. I don't even know how to spell it. Don't ask me how to spell it. But
that's like 8 syllables.
I know. You asked. Yeah, no. The guys I own this place, they were, very, very welcoming, as they always are. So yeah, we want to do it right, and it gives me something to play for and practice for, and so yes, we're going to do it.
It's just nice to be around the group too. I mean, even me from here, it's still nice to get everybody together. 6 feet
we got to figure out how we. Yeah, 6 feet. We got to figure out how we can get you to play. 1,500 miles away where there's no delay. That's the thing. That's why we tried that. We had my buddy Tommy Burns on last week. He grabbed his guitar and he's like me, man. You just want to play, everything, and just the delay was so bad, and that's part of the things that I feel. I'm very happy that Stephen, that you know how to deal with that. But even just on a regular Zoom thing, if the band's not in one room, a live thing with the millisecond delay. I mean, maybe you can talk about that because it's over my head, dude.
Yeah, it gets a little bit difficult because the speed of the internet connection goes up and down. It fluctuates throughout the time. So you guys see me, playing around with my mouse sometimes here.
That's what you're doing, playing with your mouse.
Yeah. Thanks for the giggle there. I tried to hold it in, but but I'm actually trying to adjust it as we go through the stream. So it's a little bit interesting because with the speed of the internet always changing, you kind of have to just do what you can, get it to the best of your ability, and then accept the rest as fate.
Well, that's on a Zoom to Zoom conference that you're using as a platform when people are in a different area. But with a band in one room, it's easier because then at least you can play off each other. But you still have millisecond delay because we're sending you the stuff to the Midwest, correct?
Yeah. You guys send it to me, and then I package it all up and send it out to everybody else. So, and there's about a 20 to 22 second delay from the time you guys send it to the time that it gets to their eyes and ears. So
that's why you're a technical wizard.
Oh, yeah.
I play an instrument with 3 valves. It can't be that difficult. I got 3 things.
Yep. But no, we'll definitely figure it out, and hopefully we can do something again soon.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thanks for that question.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that, Rob. Had a couple Billy related questions if you want to dig into those.
Yeah. Hit me.
Where did you go? Here was one. I'd love to hear your reflections of your first live solo feature with Billy.
Love to hear my reflections of my first live solo feature with Billy. I always equate this. So was Zanzibar, which was one of Billy's beautiful tunes off 52nd Street record, which is a beautiful record, and the late great Freddie Hubbard played the flugelhorn solo and trumpet solo on that recording, and so it was ingrained in my being a Long Island kid and loving Freddie Hubbard and growing up in Long Island, loving Billy Joel. Those two guys together for me was cool. I always was a younger guy. Hearing that and being, like I said, a Freddie devotee and digging Billy's music, it was a special moment. And the first gig actually wasn't the Garden. I remember the first live gig I did playing that tune was actually in Sunrise. Max, you got to help me out if you're still here. Sunrise, there's been like 20 different names in Sunrise, Florida, on the outskirts of Fort Lauderdale. We rehearsed there for a day or two and did the first gig. But I always equate, no matter what I'm playing with Billy, it's like sitting behind a 747 jet engine on stage. I have in-ears. A lot of us in his band have in-ear monitors. Just because, man, it gets so loud. Not particularly the band. The band gets loud, too. I mean, it's just a venue. But what is amazing in that 747 is the mix between the loudness of the band and Billy and the audience. It's it's like, it's unnerving. You can feel it in your bones. You can feel it in your chakras of your spine. It's crazy, man. So I remember blowing the Zanzibar solo, and halfway, the first solo, people are clapping and what have you. I guess I wasn't too bad that night. Sometimes I'm bad, but they were clapping. It was nice, But I've played for a lot of people before, but in these arenas specifically, when you get to an arena thing, everything kind of bounces off the walls, and then you have it come through your in-ear monitors, and it's almost like an outer body experience. The best way I could equate these gigs is the best way to practice is to play as hard as you can physically on your instrument behind a 747 taking off, and that's the feeling. You're, as a trumpet player and playing sax and trombone, I'm almost relying on my muscle memory. I know how it feels in a practice room, and you just kind of have to lay on that and go for that. So that was my conditioning, I think, even in rehearsals, because at rehearsals you don't get that vibe and that volume and the audience action. It's crazy, man. So that's the only thing I can equate it to. It was a surreal moment, and it always, it's never lost. What's amazing is it hasn't lost its vitality. It's always exciting. It's always a fun vibe, and now we haven't played in so long. When we get together, it's going to be like new again. So hopefully that answered that question.
Yeah. And actually, isn't Sunrise the BB&T?
Yeah, it was BB&T.
Yeah.
These places change like I change my underpants at least once a day.
At least once a week.
See, I can't take me anywhere. No, a lot of these places change your name. It was BB&T. Maybe it's Sunrise. Originally, I think it was Sunrise. It might be BT. Who knows?
Yeah.
Next week it will be,
Yep.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Fruit and Loom.
Very cool. Let's see. There was another Billy-related question from Tom Davis. Tell her about it. Has great horn lines. Is there a reason it doesn't ever make the set list?
Can't tell you. I play trumpet in the band. I don't get involved with that. I think we might have rehearsed it coming on 15 years in December. I think we rehearsed it once or twice. I think we played it once or twice. There's so many great songs in his catalog. Yeah, and there was some great horn lines in that particular tune, and the video was hysterical. It was great. His catalog is so vast and big. It goes across everything. It's really hard to to pick one particular tune. I know a lot of the people that come out to a Billy concert that I see regularly. They want to hear the obscurities, and then a lot of people who don't have that opportunity to come out, they want to hear, the Only the Good Die Young. They want to hear Italian Restaurant, Big Shot, the big sellers. So, you pay all this money, and Billy's very, I love Billy because he's very, he thinks about, if I go to a concert, they don't want to hear all my B-sides. People are interested, but, that's what I love between the wonderful Stephen Cohen, Brian Ruggles, and the management of Billy's management and production crew is great, because everybody has the best interest of the music and the catalog. So Steve Cohen will sit. He works on the set list with Mr. Joel, and they have. I know every city, every gig we've played. They know what we played before, and they always try to mix it up. But you got a guy going to a concert that hasn't been to a concert in 20 years. They want to hear that bulk of the chunk of the hits, and then the sprinkles. We call it the sprinkles get thrown in. So yeah. So hopefully that answered the question. It's a great tune. I think, like I said, I think we rehearsed it, and hopefully that answered that.
Yeah. Let's see. Louis is checking in. What's up, Louis?
What's up, Papa? He's a drummer from another mother.
He's checking in on YouTube and on Facebook. He's pulling double duty.
He's being fancy.
Getting our numbers up.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. He's a drummer with the great Al DiMiola, and he came He's over here in Tampa area here and plays with T.Ë.T.I with me, which is Tribute to Evolutionary Trumpet Icons, my new band. So he's holding down the drum chair and killing it. And we're going to do it again soon, Lewis, real soon.
Yeah. Lee Eisenstock checking in, saying hello. Mike from Chicago checking in.
Hi, Geek.
Let's see. Mike, Evan, any plans on the virtual gigs? Oh, yeah, we hit that one already. The virtual gigs with Ted-I.
Yep.
So, okay.
Thank you, and good night.
Yeah. Rob Alpert, any chance that David Rosenthal is going to make the... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the answer is yes to that. But
yeah.
Alpert, what's his first name?
Rob Albert.
Oh, Albert. I thought you said Herb Alpert.
Yeah. Herb Alpert's reaching out.
Herb.
Asking if we can turn the Tuesday night hang into a social.
Oh, that's actually Chuck Mangione.
Herb just left.
Chuck Mangione. What's up? Whatever that is. Yeah.
Like
that's
ice
Herb.
cream social
Okay,
or something like that?
You know, it's funny because Billy Joel, he'll mess with me and he'll play Herb Alpert tunes, and I think I know maybe two, and that was a horrible version of Taste of Honey. It was more like a taste of molasses. But yeah, you know, I love Herb. I think he's cool, you know, A&M Records and everything, but I wasn't into it for some reason. Yeah, whatever. I'm just rambling now, but I thought you said Herb Alpert.
Actually, that was actually the first trumpet record I ever heard when I was little.
A lot of people, and you know, mainstream, man, it's very cool. He was great for the trumpet. Great guy too. I heard he's a beautiful soul, and you know, I mean, God bless him.
I was in my.
I like the nastiness of Maynard, man. I liked it in your face. I like the coolness of Miles. You know, those are my guys, and Louis Armstrong, the happiness of Lewis's sound, the golden sound of that. You know, for some reason, I was like when I was a kid, I was in the mainstream, but I heard it and I really was like, man, it was very cool. Mm-hmm. But that's my Herb Alpert.
I actually have those albums that were hiding in my grandmother's console record player in the 80s.
We all have them. We all have.
Let's see. So Rob Albert's question was, any chance Dave Rosenthal is going to make the list of bandmates to join the hang?
Yes, Herb Alpert. I'm sorry, Ron. I had to, man. No, absolutely. Actually, you know, I missed Dave's call today. Dave gave me a phone call today. I haven't heard from Dave in a while. And Dave said he was checking in. He's checked the feeds out. And it would be an honor to have Dave on. We have a great time. So, yes, I'd love to have Dave on. We just have to figure out the scheduling, you know, because these Tuesday night hangs, you know, could get, you know, there could be a conflict of interest with ice cream and dessert at 9 o'clock. You know? That's with me, not with Dave. No, I'd love to have Dave on, and he's a wealth of information on and off the piano. So, yeah, I think we'd have a great time doing it. And, of course, Chuck Berge, love to have. And I'd love to have, you know, so I think that's the rest. Oh, and then, of course, Mike Del Giudice. I'd love to have Mike on. We talked about it. So we're doing that. And then, so that's the band. But, you know, the band's one thing, but having the crew cats. You know, we had an episode last season with Chainsaw and Wayne. And I always learn so much from those guys because they make us sound good, and that's a hard thing to do, man. So not only that, you know, on the production side, but the management side too, there's a lot of things that go on that not a lot of people know about. That those are the unsung heroes. So yeah, I still get excited about having everybody on. Hopefully you guys do too.
Cool. You know, one of the questions that we did have come in that we never got to before was, you mentioned the crew with Billy's band all the time. Can you talk a little bit about those on the crew and backstage, and maybe some examples of people that we may not have heard or seen before?
If I do, I might get arrested, though. You know, and I'm, you know, their bail bondsman might come and get them. No, I'm kidding. You know, like I said, it's been said before, and I'll repeat myself. The crew is kind of what makes it happen. And those guys are the rock stars. And what I mean by that is there's more particularly with this band, with the Billy Joel organization and band and crew. The crew has more juice than the band does. And I learned that right from an early stage with Chainsaw and Wayne, Ricky LaPointe and Wayne, just because they've been with Billy longer. I mean, Max, who was on here, has been with Billy over 30-something years. And so there's that bond and allegiance there that, hey, man, if Carl shows his butt, he's a new guy. If he shows his butt, smack him down, and Max will take roll up his newspaper and smack me in the head, But so, yeah, there's a lot of unsung heroes. I mean, I could talk about Max, who's our tour manager. I could talk about the best production manager. Everybody in the organization is at the best of what they do, but not only are they great at what they do, they're unbelievable individuals, and everybody's family. So you have a production manager, the infamous Boomer, and Boomer is just Bobby Thrasher. That's his real name, but Boomer makes everything happen on the production side. And I mentioned these two gentlemen earlier. You got Brian Ruggles, who's Billy Joel's front of house sound engineer and ears to the band. He makes the band sound great. You have wonderful Steve Cohen, who's a production manager and deals with the lights and does the beautiful light shows and does the video calling. And then you have unbelievable carpenters that take care of the stage and build the stage. And, first people in who are, I really think, unsung, who actually two of them are my neighbors here in Florida and two of my great buddies. You got Norman Gomes and Drew Labriola. These gentlemen are the riggers. Anything that's hanging up over our head, anything to do with marking out the stadium or the arena, those guys are marking out and coming in way before everybody and making those points, square and correct. I mean, it's and getting all that scalping thing up, and and then of course you got the backline guys like we're talking about, Chainsaws and the Waynes and wonderful Mike Lavana. I'm leaving somebody out. I'm sorry. Carpenters, and then you have the wonderful video crew that Joe Weir and his beautiful crew. They make everything look unbelievable. And then you have two other people that that are just, if they weren't there, to me they're staples. They have to be there, and that's the band tour manager Michael Grizel. Michael is again, he's got to have 30 years in the organization. He takes care of the band as far as the tour, and he does a wonderful job. And then also you have a production manager also that works with Boomer hand in hand, and we love our Liz Monahan. We love Lizzie, and she's like, we call her, she's everybody's best. She's just such a great, I can't talk, I'm going to get a little bit melancholy, but everybody, and then, you look at Boomer's sons, T.Ë.T.I and Lucas. T.Ë.T.I takes care of Chuck's drums, and Lucas does Billy's, teleprompter, and also carpenters. And it just, it's just never. And then of course, I talked about Brian Ruggles, but we also have an unbelievable, the best in the business, sound crew. Josh is on here. He's my buddy, runs the monitors. Josh and Jay are next to the stage doing the monitor board, and they just make the stuff sound so perfect. And then you got Brian out front, and then you also have Big Brian, not Littleton, I can't remember Brian's name. I call him Big B. And then of course you have man, I'm having a space. It's been so long. Rich helps out. Brian Ruggles. And you just have the sound crew, man. All these guys that just, they make a 20,000 seat arena or a 75,000 seat stadium sound like an intimate venue. It's just amazing. Everybody, we all speak still, and we all love each other. And I mean, that's why I think, we're still around. I don't know. It has nothing, Billy has said it. And I'll reiterate it, I feel Billy's the top. You know, he's top of the food chain, but there's no low totem pole on the food chain. Everybody has a voice and is very, you know, he's very loyal and humble about having people around him to do these gigs, and they're great. It's just wonderful, and everybody gets along. Imagine that. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
That's cool because that kind of plays into the question, the fact that you can literally name, you know.
I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting the best part. I'm gonna get my butt kicked. The security. You know, we got Noel Rush, Bob Bender, and Tim Brockman, and you know sometimes Mike Colucci comes out and helps out when he can, and you got a whole bunch of cats, and then you know in certain venues we also have other people that come in and help. You got Danielle, she comes out and helps out with Liz, and you know of course we have the wonderful Marissa. She is unbelievable. Everybody, it's just I could go on and on. I'm sorry, I'm leaving everybody out, but it just things hit me. But everybody, it's a unit. It's just a unit.
Yeah, you got them.
And it's all to make the music and Billy and the music and everybody have a great time. How do you beat that? You know.
Yep. Sorry. Speaking of somebody that deserves a shout out, Harold Smick III. Nice shout out to your friends behind the scenes and crew.
Little spinning wheel for Smick. Smick has got the gold watch. He retired from over 30 years with blood, sweat, and tears as the tour manager, sound engineer, and general tour manager, and just the best cat to deal with the situations. He's helped us out too with T.Ë.T.I. What's up, Smicky? Hope all's well. I owe you a phone call. Sorry, buddy.
Mandy Blumenthal says Mike Grizel is one of the best humans you could know. Also chimes in and says, you forgot to mention those of us who lurk around all the time and do nothing useful with a wink face. Let's see.
Yeah, it's the wink face. I'd be here all night if I had to mention everybody.
Yeah.
But
Carlo.
That's cool. I'm glad you guys are here.
Thank you. What's up, Carlo? Going?
Belly.
Yeah. Len Ramsey, is there a place in Florida where you sit or play or sit in with others in the local area?
Yeah, I go to the swamp and punch an alligator in the face. I actually have a lake across the street from my house, and man, I got some gators in there. Do I go and sit in Florida? Man, I'll be honest with you. I love it here, but no. The music scene was actually one time in Tampa, St. Pete, I thought really good. And there's a lot of wonderful, great musicians here. Man, but the gigs are still back from 25 years ago. They're still paying horrible bread. And you got some wonderful musicians playing great music, and you got some really bad musicians that you wish you never heard. And that's what you get for having retirement, you know, guys that are, you know, 60 years old that retired. They did a gig for 30 years, and now all of a sudden they're a trumpet player. They haven't played in 20 years, which is I'm not dogging them. I want them to come out and play, but you get a lot of that. So you got a lot of guys that are coming out that haven't played in 20 years and now are playing and going to these jam sessions. So I'll go to a couple of these jam sessions and have a couple great burners, and then you have a guy that hasn't played in 30 years who's trying to play a blues. And so for me, it's different because I'm spoiled. Not that everybody in New York and New Jersey and the tri-state area are great musicians. That's not that case, but you just have more of a microcosm in those places where guys are a little bit more serious. You know, they're on their way up, or they're trying to get their craft together to make a living doing it. Whereas the guys, I see a lot of guys here in my area undercut each other. They come out, you know, the gig's $100. Well, I'll do it for 50. You know, so like I tried when I first moved here to go out to some of these things, and I just got frustrated. And I don't, you know, I try to play with T.Ë.T.I. I try to keep the players I like playing with very close, and we play and we have a great time. But as far as jam sessions, stuff like that, and venues that support music, I mean, there's a lot of great musicians, and there's always exception to the rule. There's some great places to play too. I know our friends over at Ruth Eckerd Hall, Bobby Rossi and that clan, they have some wonderful acts come in, and Bobby's a very big proponent of what we do, and we appreciate that. There's some great venues, but yeah, it's man, I'm at that stage of my life where I want to keep friends, and I don't really want to go to a jam session and play a blues with somebody that hasn't played in 30 years and struggling through it. Now, I will do it if it's somebody that's serious. I don't care if you're 70 years old. If you're serious about it, great. But, you know, when I play, you know, there's a seriousness that goes along with it that, you know, got to deal. If you're not going to deal, then I don't want to be there.
Awesome. Thank you for that question, Len.
Len probably hates me now.
Well, he said thank you, so
thanks.
He might hate you, but he's polite.
Nice, polite. Sorry, Len. You know, it's funny because, and every city's different too, man. I go across. I'm very fortunate because a lot of times we'll get with Billy, or when I was with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Not so much with BS&T. A little bit with Diana Ross when I toured with her. A lot with Maynard. You get to these cities, different cities, and you be invited to sessions. And with Billy, I'm fortunate because we usually get in the day before. So I'll suss out of town, like, you know, going to see Max. I know I'm going and going to play and going to try to play at the Preservation Hall. I want to, you know, I know I'm going to hang out with those guys and play with those guys, or I'm going to go down the street and play with, not Leroy Jones. I love Leroy, but there's another gentleman. Oh, he's escaping me. He plays at the club right down the street on the corner, not the famous store. But I have my places where I go, you know, and I know I'm going to go play with this guy or hang with this guy and steal some licks from this guy. So you have your towns that's like, okay, you know, I know Chicago, I come and hang out with you guys. I go to the Joint, go to the Green Mill, you know, have your places, you know, you go to Boston. No, actually, I have to put a shout out, man. We lost a jazz giant, you know. Stephen, I'll let you talk about your association with Ira and the Jazz Showcase in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, Joe. Yeah.
I mean, Joe. I'm calling Ira.
Yeah, Joe Siegel started hiring people back in the mid-'40s, bringing
Miles Davis, Charlie Parker.
Yeah, bringing in great jazz to Chicago. Had the venue, the Jazz Showcase. Ran it. I'm not sure when his son started with him, but he's been there as long as I can remember. Wayne.
Wayne, yeah.
Yeah, but I know I've seen so many great shows there, and you know, met a lot of great people. Got to see Roy Hargrove there. Got to meet actually one of the most memorable experiences was Tom Harrell.
Yeah.
Seeing him live and how, you know, just how he approaches the instrument with everything that he has to deal with, you know, it's just it's unbelievable to see in person. But you know, yeah. So yeah, sorry to see that Joe pass away early last week. So
early last week, Joe, we lost Joe. Yeah, and I remember, you know, going. It was always the Jazz Showcase, but he had it in a Blackstone Hotel. That's when I first, and we did a Maynard. I was with Maynard playing at the Blackstone, which was the Jazz Showcase, and then he moved down. Was it not Dearborn? Where was it, Dearborn? I can't remember the street, but he moved to the bigger venue. Not bigger, but more. It was a good venue, man.
Yeah,
I remember playing the Showcase with Maynard there. And that was where you played when you came to Chicago. If you weren't playing a college or a high school, that was what Maynard would do too. We do a lot of education in the schools. So yeah. So every city has its vibe and places you go. You know, that's where I'm getting at. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of these guys are not with us. And you know, I'm going to go back to the Billy thing for a minute. I'm going to mention this just because he's such a good proponent of trying to keep people together and keep music vibrant and living. Is the Billy Joel Foundation donated a nice sum. I believe it was $25,000.
Yeah, I think so.
To the Smalls Foundation, which is a great jazz club in lower down in the village in in New York City, and and that fund helped musicians out and keep web presence going. And Spike Wilner, actually, he was the proprietor. I'm using that word again. The owner of the club. Actually, he was a piano player I played with on Maynard Ferguson's band. So Spike is trying to still keep that place open, and not a lot of these venues left, man. But they're part of the breeding grounds of this organic thing. That man, it's it's cool. You gotta have that. Gotta have that.
Speaking of people you want to go to a jam session with, we got Chris Farr checking in.
What's up, Farr? That's my buddy. My Philadelphia connection.
He's asking if you can talk about the Florida Keys.
Oh, my man. So Chris is a wonderful tenor player I met. He came out of Maynard's band. I don't know if it was his first tour or not with us, but we were inseparable. We always got in trouble. And, we had a couple days off in the Keys, Florida Keys. And all I remember was vaguely, I didn't steal anything. And maybe borrowed some bicycles. And Chris, fit perfectly in the basket. He fit perfectly on the front basket. So, we had a good time in the Keys, man. Chris is a professor at Philadelphia School of the Arts. So if any of the students are watching, just remember he can sit in a bicycle basket in the Keys and fit right in with everybody.
And teach a lesson at the same time.
Yeah. But Chris is dealing, man. He's one of the best tenor players I know of. He's come out and played with us with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He's played in my big band, all my small bands. He's played with Jill Scott. You name it, he's done it. He's records out. He's a family man, great teacher and educator, and wonderful guy. And, we miss you, Chris. We have some stories, man. Let me go find my towel.
Okay, let's see here. Let me scroll.
What you got?
I love it when I have scrolling music. That's great.
Just my chops are like, I played that little bit, and it's like I feel everything get tight.
Yeah.
That's why I picked the flugelhorn up. What do you got?
Noah's asking.
The reason, if you want to be technical, flugelhorn mouthpiece is bigger, so it kind of opens your chops up a little bit.
The more you know. Noah's asking what your first gig with Billy was. Do you remember?
We just talked about Sunrise.
It was at Sunrise. That's right.
Yeah, we did it at Sunrise. I mean, we rehearsed for technically almost 2 months, but the first gig, actually, if you go back, he actually used to come quite a bit when I was principal trumpet player for the last year of Moving Out, which is Billy Joel's show, and he came quite a bit. And he'd come and sit in, so I became friendly with him there. And but yeah, the first Billy Joel band gig was in Sunrise. It was a fun night.
Actually,
a whole bunch of my New York buddies there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there.
All right.
One of the questions that we had from one of the other shows was, had you ever seen Billy live in concert before you were on the gig?
I did. It was at Nassau Coliseum when I was younger. Nassau Coliseum in Long Island was very close. I was off the Meadowbrook Parkway, 10 minutes away. Huh? You go down Meadowbrook Parkway, you go over there. So I remember checking them out. I don't remember what year it was. And I was blown away, man, because, I was a jazz guy. And like I said, I dug Billy. And that was his backyard. And the whole band was from Long Island. It was cool. Definitely cool. And then, obviously videos and stuff like that. But yeah, Nassau Coliseum, seeing Billy, I guess I want to say it was probably early 80s.
Okay.
82, 83, 80, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Well, I can't tell you. I know it was in the early 80s because by 85, I was gone. I came down for high school down here. I lived down here for 4 years for high school. And actually bolted out in 3.5, got my diploma and got out, and then went back up to New York. My parents weren't happy about it, but I didn't like it down here at the time. You know, my heart, most of my family was in New York, and the music that I loved was in New York. I came here, and you know, I loved the weather and I loved the people, but I needed to get back. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was early '80s was that first Billy gig.
Okay.
I'd seen.
Go Noah. Melody Rose. Oh, I have a question. Question is for Steven. What software are you guys using to stream this? It's cool to see comments from all the different platforms on the screen. Basically, Melody, it's kind of a convoluted setup, but Carl and I are on a Zoom conference. I take his video feed and pull it into this software called OBS, Open Broadcast Software. It's actually a free software, open source that people just develop and make available for people. There's different versions of it, but it's OBS, and each camera through the Zoom conference is used to support these. So I can make Carl have his own screen like this. I can make me have my own screen. I can put us together on the screen. If we have guests, I can do that. If everything falls apart, I can make it Zoom only, and then it just keeps going over and over again. So it's OBS is the main broadcast software, and then we use Restream.io to actually send out the stream to all the different platforms. So it's a few different things all together, but hopefully that answers your question. It's the Restream is actually what allows us to put the comments from all the different platforms together on the screen. So.
And I'll chime in too because I'm so technical, but Steven's very humble, and he won't say this, but a lot of the stuff that you see are basically Steven's templates that never existed before. That he kind of, I could tell everybody that you were a software geek and you can write code, and I mean he's versed in this stuff. So when we were originally talking about it, I remember you telling me, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and I'm like, "Huh?" You know, but it's pretty amazing. You know, you mentioned this, Steven, the other day. It's like seeing our first episode to what it's been now, just as far as, you know, the improvement, you know, technology. And I think both of us were, you know, it's an organic thing anyway. But what I'm saying is the technology side of it, it wasn't a template that you followed. You kind of had to chart the course. So
yeah,
if I had a hat, I'd take it off.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm trying. But
you do a great job, bro. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Melody Rose.
Thank you.
Nathaniel, saw a question you had here. Where did you go? Nathaniel Williford checking in. Planning on heading to Warburton.
Sorry. You said Nathaniel Adderley, baby. Nat Adderley. Work song. I'm Herb. I heard Herb Alpert and I heard Nat Adderley. That was a Nat tune. Sorry.
It's all right. You got to get it out of your system, man. Do it.
I just love Nathaniel, man. He was one of my. There's Nathaniel right there. That's Nathaniel
all the way in the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang on. Sorry, Nathaniel.
We'll get Nat. Bring him up.
I feel like I'm on show and tell when you're in elementary school. What did you do today, Carl?
What did you bring to class, Carl?
Actually, can you getting glare on it?
Yeah, it's all right. We got it.
You gotta see this, man. That is Nat Adderley, and me when I was young with my purple coat. He was one of my trumpet teachers down here, actually. Mm-hmm. But Nat's brother was a famous musician as well, Julian Cannonball Adderley. And I used to go to Nat's house and hang. There it is again, Tuesday night hang. We used to come. He goes, I want to take lessons from you, Mr. Adderley. No, you come to my house and you hang. We'll talk. We'll talk about music. We'll play a little bit. We're gonna hang, and that's what we did, man. And you go into his house, and in the middle of his you open the front door of Nat's, Lakeland, Florida. You going through the front door, and from floor to ceiling, there's an oil painting of his late brother, Cannonball. I'm like, oh man. You go into the music room. In the middle of the music room is his, plastic cases, Cannonball's last saxophone that he played. It was just like hang with Nat. So I'd hang with Nat, just like we're doing the hang show here. And then you hanging with Nat. That was a tune I wrote for Nat when I was hanging with Nat, called Hanging with Nat. Sorry, I'm just going on this Nat thing. See what happens when I don't have guests? I'm like, my mind goes crazy places. This is bad, really bad.
Actually, it just made me think, was James Brown just actually in pain the whole time? Because you're like, I think I hurt myself.
I hurt myself. I got done with that last note. I was like, oh, yeah, hurt myself.
Hurt myself.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Nathaniel, I'm sorry, man. I went on this tangent.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Nathaniel Williford says, I'm planning on heading to the Warburton shop soon to try out the CF horn. I've been interested in a while. Really looking forward to it.
All right. Cool, Nathaniel. It's based off a lot of different designs, but basically the nucleus of the horn is my feelings of my wonderful Constellation medium bore early 60s and late 50s Constellation medium bore trumpets. I have one of Maynard's. I have my dad's 58 behind me here. It's not red case there. But yeah, so I like that medium bore feel. I've tried to get that medium bore feel with the Yamahas I've played, with my Convintage ones I played. Had to choke them down because they weren't making a medium bore. But I like about this particular CF horn now I'm playing, it's got a medium bore feel, but it's got a large throw bell, big diameter bell on it, and it doesn't feel like a medium bore. So hopefully that entices you. It's definitely. I have a lot of classical guys, and Stephen, you can talk about this too, because I know a lot of questions come across your desk. Guys will say, well, can I, I kind of play nasty on it. I'm not really fragile. But some guys, like to play very nice soft passages, or, play excerpts from, beautiful sonatas and stuff like that. So I have some classical trumpet players playing it. It does a lot. It's a good trumpet, and you can get a lot of different timbres out of it easily. It's not just it's not just like a screaming horn, a lead horn, You can get that real nice, darker sound, or you can do. It can go pretty. The spectrum of the sound can be changed up. I just have to have chops and know how to play. So anyway, that's enough about the CF horn. But yeah, it's the kind of medium bore horn, and I hope it works out for you. If it doesn't, lay us a little email, lay on us a little email, and there's a lot of great horns out there, and if this horn doesn't work for you, fine. If it does, that's great too. It's just a tool. It's just a tool to get it out.
Let's see, Ken Schlaffer's awesome job tonight, guys. Love the stories.
Thank you.
Let's see. This one's a kind of a random one, but let's go here. I know with Billy, you don't really have this situation, but Keith Dunton is asking, when you're on tour, how many nights were you typically sleeping on the bus versus hotels?
With who?
Let's just say with Maynard.
I mean, every act's different.
Yeah.
We would do with Maynard Ferguson, we do a lot of hit and runs, which was until you hit the gig and you'd run after the gig and you drive 500 miles through the night to get to the next gig. And if you were lucky, you get maybe three, it'd be 2 or 3 cleanup rooms. You take, 3 or 4 guys in a room. You take your shower, maybe you get an hour of sleep or what have you. You sleep on the bus, get changed, do your gig and run to the next one. So, in a typical week, you maybe have 1 or 2 hit and runs. As we all know, booking agents have a great sense of humor because they don't know how to read road atlas. Gigs in California, they could be in New York in a day, no problem. Not on a bus. But I remember, I'm not kidding you guys, I remember being on a bus from this one was good. It was actually, Chris mentioned it, Key West, Florida, and the next gig was in California or in Chicago, and then the next gig, you're in Maine. Huh? Really? But those tours back in the day, you didn't fly. With Maynard, we were 12 people. You didn't fly 12 people. Your budget wasn't there, so you had to be on a bus. So, man, you turned and burned. With Maynard, we'd have, not just Floyd, our bus driver, whoever our bus driver was, our wonderful tour manager for years, Ed Sargent. He had a CDL bus license, man. And, you can only do 12 hours a shift before the driver has to go take a nap. So first driver would do his 12, Ed would do his 12, rotate. And, man, whew. So, yeah, it was interesting, man. My best sleep to this day is on a Silver Eagle tour bus. It has to be a Silver Eagle. The way they rock. They rock to and fro, fore and aft. They rock this way, like a boat. Now, Prevost rock left to right. Man, just sleeping on a Prevost. I sleep good anywhere, but man, I missed those Silver Eagle bus trips that Maynard had, old Silver Eagle. So yeah,
hey.
Hopefully that answered that question.
Chris Fart says Alabama to Maine, 27 hours, shorts to snow.
That's right. Alabama to Maine. Yeah, man. Oh, my God. And it was probably Gadsden State where we would play in Alabama all the time and do the Maine thing. Yeah. Oh, my God. And I think that was Chris, does Mike Kaiser ring a bell? We did a gig in Maine. It was over a lake. And I remember it was like constellations out. There was a beautiful northern sky. And we were all looking at stars. I think you were on this gig. And Maynard and I came out like, what is everybody? And why are you looking up? Everybody was looking up. And yeah, that was Mike Kaiser. He was a proponent of Maynard. He loved Maynard's band and loved Maynard. Whenever we would be in Maine, I remember Mike had something to do with it.
Since you mentioned the bus, I had another question. I think we can kind of tie 2 of these together. Did Maynard ever interact with the band while you guys were on the bus or hang after the shows?
The Maynard bus hang was where you learned the most, indirectly, especially on the old Silver Eagle, because Maynard's area was in the front of the bus. It wasn't a typical entertainer coach where a lot of the entertainer coaches have staterooms or the stars room in the back. No, Maynard's bunk and his first seat in the bus and bunk was right as soon as you walked into the bus. You had to walk past Maynard. And then there was another seat next to him, which was the road manager's Ed's seat and his bunk. And then if you were lucky, you could sit on the stairs or you could slide out the cooler between the two and sit on a cooler. And man, that cooler had my butt imprinted in it because I'd hang up there a lot because also I joined the band as a valet. So I had to deal with a lot of the stuff that Maynard was dealing with, what he wanted to eat, his clothes. But yeah, so those hangs on those buses, man. And later on in life, after he sold, he used the Eagle for 20-something years. That was the bus he started renting Prevos. And they were a lot nicer coaches because they had the entertainment, had the bunks in the middle, a lounge for the band in the front, and then Maynard would have his quarters in the back. And he'd still come out and have Maynard was he loved traveling, man. So that was fun parts, As far as after the gigs, man, once the gig was over, there was not a lot of hangs. Once in a while he'd come out if there was a function, if the band was, if there was like a after hours party or something. Occasionally he'd come out, but there were long days, and we were doing. You play 5-6 days a week, man. So you want to get home.
Well, plus a lot of the shows you guys were doing clinics too, earlier in the day. So
a lot of them, yeah. I say I can't remember the ratio of regular gigs compared to school gigs that were educational clinics, but that was his highest ratio, especially January through April seems like the time it was the Northeast Corridor. We'd sit on a tour bus in January and drive on the Northeast Corridor and hit every school and do clinics and concerts that night. That was where his base was, man. We just had a lot of people. And you think how many winter storms we drove through on those buses. Crazy.
Rick, probably mispronounced the last name, Langelier, says the torsion bars on the Silver Eagle is the best ride out there.
It was a torsion bar. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, bro. My man knows what I'm talking about. All right, yep. Someone's listening.
Yeah. Let's see. While you mentioned a couple other things that were tied to questions that we had. You mentioned when you were the valet with Maynard. We had two questions. One is just basically, did you enjoy being Maynard's valet? And the other was Maynard a good teacher, and did those people on the band learn more through his words or just his actions?
Okay, so the first question, and then hit me with the second question because I have a attention deficit disorder. Did I enjoy the valet gig? It was very demanding, and it was the best, probably one of the best learning experiences of my career because he was one of my idols. And I got to see him. One of the reasons, again, I took the gig, obviously, was because I could see what he did in his day and day, his rituals, what he did to prepare to play, how he prepared to play, what he ate. When I first joined the band, and I'll have a steak and a potato. He eats a steak and a potato and goes out and plays a double C. If I was to do that, I've tried. I was younger, I could, but here he is 70 years old and eating a steak and potato and going out and playing hard with an energy demand. So he could make things happen. But seeing how he clicked, it was hard to keep, I got the gig as a valet first. They knew I was a player, but there was an opening for a valet. And we had Ed Sargent. I was on Ed Sargent's feed. He has a beautiful thing. And Stephen, correct me, it was University of Tennessee, Martinsville.
Yeah, Keeping the Beat.
Keeping the Beat. He has a wonderful show. Him and Julie Hill had me on, and we talked a lot about. So Ed got me on as valet. He knew I played. He heard me play, but that was an opening at that point. And so I did the gig for 2 or 3 weeks. Then Maynard heard me play again, and it was like, how come he's not on the bandstand? He needs to be on the bandstand. And actually, the arrangers at the time. At the time, that was Chip McNeil, who was my roommate. Chip comes on here occasionally. We love Chip. He would write me in the arrangement. Same thing with Tom Garling, a wonderful trombone player, and write me some parts, whatever things were happening. But that was the demanding thing, being able to keep my trumpet chops, because you're on a trumpet band. If you don't have trumpet chops on that gig, you shouldn't be there. Consistency, playing well in a section, and playing well with others. So doing that and then having to deal with the valet thing was a very delicate dance. And I mentioned this story on Ed's show. It's like one of the times I got really nervous as Maynard had me into his dressing room one day. He goes, "It's you and me. You're talking to me. You're fired. From now on, you're not dealing with me at all. You're done." And he was just stone-faced. "You're done. You see that horn?" He's pointing at his horn. He goes, "Now you're dealing with this full time. Enough." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "No, time for you to play in my band. I was playing for 2 years in the band prior, but he's like, I want to see you blossom, and you've been doing some different things, and now it's time for you to really, the time that you're spending with me, now you have that extra time. You work on it, and you're in my band. You've been in my band all along, but I'm going to set you free. You're fired from my valet gig." And that was really, I was really scared. I thought he was firing me. He's like, "No, now you've done it. I see," and that was a very interesting, actually it was funny because I missed when I stepped off that valet chair, I missed hanging with him because we had I was with him all the time, so I had another 10 years on and off the band with just being hired gun and being in there a lot and doing a lot of tours and just being a trumpet player in a band. Anybody who played an instrument in that band knows it was a very demanding schedule that you had to be on your game. So that was really hard. So hopefully that answered the first part of the question. What was the other one about teaching?
Yeah, the
indirectly?
second was Maynard as a teacher. Do you feel like the people on his band learned more through his words or his actions?
More actions, the way he treated people. Maynard never say, "You need to do this." It was never, "You need to do it." It wasn't that. Suggestions. And Carl. Yeah, okay. You played that solo tonight. It was good. But now I want you to play more bop. Play your stuff. Play your bop on this. It'd be like, "Oh, okay." Wouldn't tell me, those things went a long way because those suggestions didn't come all the time. So, the things that I think any guy in that band or girl in that band, because he had a lot of different people through that band, was the indirect winks. He'd end a phrase and he would end it on a chord extension or a note that would not be a normal tonic or root third, fifth, or seventh even. He'd end it on like a sharp 13 or flat 9 or sharp 13 and turn around and kind of give you the wink like, "All right, I'm going to play some upper structure Miles Davis suspensions. I'm going to give you a little suspension on this, not end on tonic, which is the root dominant note of that chord." So he stuff like that. Also, man, for me, I don't know how other people felt, but it was a trumpet lesson every night, the way he approached the trumpet. And what haunts me in my sleep, and I still hear it, is his sound. I hear that sound in my head. There's nothing that replaces that sound. Steven, you go to a Maynard concert, I heard that sound in front and in back and on side. And it haunts me. I hear that, and it's just like, it makes me, again, emotional. Like I was talking about Billy's crew and band. It's the same thing. I hear that sound. It's like, man, it just takes you to a different place. And so that's how he represented that. What's that?
I said, you can't unhear it.
No, but it just had so much life. Like Louis Armstrong had so much life in his sound, and it was organic, and it meant something. It wasn't polished, and he could play pretty, but it wasn't polished and pretty like a smooth jazz, trumpet player or what have you. Man, it was just organic, and here it is, and it's big and bold and beautiful, and correlation. You hear Mike Del Judas with Billy Joel Organization, singer and guitar player. He does a beautiful aria, Pavarotti thing.
Nessun Dorma.
Thank you. He plays Nessun Dorma. And for years, Maynard would play Nessendormer. And there was another one, Caruso, which is mine.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
If I was to play... just sounds stale and just not... There's no vibe. That's what is this? I'm trying to play Caruso. Mm-hmm. You hear that sound with Maynard and the way he addresses it. And Mike Del Giudice does a great job. It's command and just knowing how to place the melody and just phrasing and placement. So that was my lame attempt of just reading the chart, but that's a really, really, really horrible, lame attempt. I haven't heard that tune and played that tune in probably 20 years. But that's just, and again, I'm showing myself for the simple reason is, the vibe, the intent. Maybe I played some wrong notes, I played some wrong lines and stuff like that, but it's the vibe and intent that he had. Mike Del Giudice does that when he does these things, and just the placement of certain phrases and knowing the lyrics and just, man, I'm sorry. These things separates the men from the boys or the women from the girls, Mm-hmm. Did I lose everybody?
Nah, you gained some people.
I lost myself.
Hey. One of the ones we gained is John Scarpulla.
Scarpet,
what's up, John?
What's up, man? I left you a message, bro. I've been meaning. I want to call you back. You left me a message. I left you a message. We got to get you on here, and we can act stupid again. I miss you, bro. I love you.
Yeah.
Where you at?
Also,
Ozzy was here. Scarpulla's here.
Yeah.
It's a hang.
Yeah.
Hang the boys. John's a wonderful tenor sax player up in the New York area. I spent a lot of time with him. He's played with Billy with us, and all my little projects. John has got me on a million different gigs. We did Mariah Carey's recording sessions. He was a principal tenor player on Moving Out. He's done a million Broadway shows, a million pop things. He was the contractor and still is the contractor and horn boss for Diana Ross, and just a wonderful cat and a great player. And I miss you, bro.
All right, I'm gonna whiplash you a little bit. We've talked about Billy and we've talked about Maine. Let's switch to some of the other questions that have to do with just like your take on general music and career.
Don't do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Run.
Let's see. Where should we start? Is there an artist or tour that you turned down that you wish you had taken the opportunity to work on?
Yes. And I can't remember. I want to say it was 7 years. We're 2020. I want to say it was 2012. I remember 2012 or 2013. It was 12. So we were just getting rolling with Billy on the Madison Square Garden run, right? 2012 is when we started that. Does that sound right, Stephen?
2012 would have been the Hurricane Sandy shows.
So it was after the shows. Okay, yeah. So it was 2013. because the Sandy show, we did the 12-12-12 concert with Billy, and that was the impetus to get kind of back and start doing a garden run. So it was 2013. Thank you for that. It was 2013 or 14. So we were just starting the garden run, and we were at maybe 5 shows into it. And I got a call. I remember I was moving. I was on the auto train. Check this out. I was bringing my truck. So this was in the winter. This was 2000. Maybe the winter of 13 or the beginning of 14. I was on an auto train bringing my car. I left the truck up in New York because was staying up in New York 2 weeks a month. Anyway, long story short, I was on the auto train, and I get a call from a contractor friend of mine. Says, hey, man, we need you to come. We have a gig at the Garden. It starts in 2 days. I'm on a train heading south. Starts, it was the last minute. It was just, he goes, John has heard you, and there's some things. Would you like to come and play at the Garden with John Mayer? I'm like, huh? I'm like, what are you talking? He goes, yeah, he wants a different horn section, and actually he's going to try some different things. And, he's played with Billy, and, your name came up a few times. Would you like to do it? And I'm like, well, what does it entail? And it actually coincided. It overlapped with the Billy thing. It was literally, I was going back. I had 2 days, and then we had another gig. It wasn't at the Garden. We just finished the gig at the Garden. And so I couldn't do it, and I just couldn't make, and then it was going to go out for like a month. And I had turned that down because I had Billy work, and, Billy's very loyal. And so I was like, oh, man, I'd love to do it. On the auto train camp. Right, I think it was before that, though. The same week, maybe a week or two before that, I get a call from another friend of mine asking me to join the Paul Simon tour. Paul was going out. And again, it didn't jive with my Billy schedule. So within 2 weeks, I turned down. It was funny because I was first really, really, really upset. I'm like, I just turned down John Mayer and I turned down Paul Simon. I'm like, I got Billy Joel. I said, I got this great gig. I think I'm doing the right thing. I was already with him at that time. I was with him 8 years, or set whatever it was, and I'm like, wow, I played a B flat trumpet. I just turned down 2 major artists I really dig, Simon and. And I know I did the right thing. John's not touring with horns, and Paul's done touring now. And I would love to play their music. I'm a big fan of their music. So I thought that was kind of cool. I would have liked to done that. But man, I was so happy that loyalty always plays a key in my decision making, and I see that with the Billy family. It's all about loyalty, and so that was those are the 2 guys I really wish I got to, in the pop field. Had a couple opportunities a couple jazz guys. I got a couple calls to do Paquito de Riviera. From a friend of mine also. I couldn't make a Paquito gig, and I love Paquito's playing. And I love his music, and it makes you, very friendly with the late, great Claudio Roditi, great trumpet player. He's not with us anymore. Claudio was on a lot of the older stuff with Paquito. And a devotee, both of would, right out of Dizzy Gillespie's school, so to speak. So I was like, man, I could pick their brains, and I knew Claudio really, really well. I hung with Claudio, but I was like, man, I get to play these charts, and but it just never materialized because of my schedule. So,
pretty decent list.
Yeah, I was lucky. For a while there, I was getting a lot of calls, and not so much anymore because just not a lot of guys aren't touring, and now with the pandemic, it's a totally different thing. But at one time, man, in New York, there was a lot of bands going out, and you just have to pick and choose what you think is you're going to do the best job at, and that challenges you, and that you can bring something to the table. So, and that you're wanted. That's just as a musician playing the trumpet. Not a lot of gigs, man. So being able to get gigs as a B flat trumpet player, you're blessed. Very lucky, man. So,
yeah.
Knock on wood.
One of the other questions that we had was mentioned New York. Can you talk a little bit about your work on Broadway and how different was that experience as opposed to road work?
My experience on Broadway is different than 99% of the regular Broadway shows out there, because it was with a bunch of hoodlums that who's on here now with Scarpula on Moving Out. It wasn't exactly your quintessential Broadway pit orchestra. It was just the opposite. We were so anti-Broadway. We got away with a lot. We had a great time. All New York morons, so we get in trouble. We had a great time. The hang was like you were on the road, but you were actually actually over the stage on Broadway. A lot of the things with playing a Broadway show for me was the stamina and being consistent. Being consistent. If you're playing 8 shows a week, and maybe you might play 6, but you had 8 shows to deal with. So being able to be consistent nightly was also, the role when I was on a road band. Being consistent. Believe it or not, too, commuting, living in Long Island and jumping on a train and trying to be there early and get there. John can attest to this. I mean, there was many times we all just made the curtain call, with the railroad or the subway dealing with that. So that was always fun. So there wasn't the Broadway thing for me, because again, it was a very unorthodox group of guys, and we all had the same ideals, so to speak. So we had a great time. We tore it up. I did get a call to do some subbing on some shows after that, and I subbed a little bit, not much. Raul Graz had me on In the Heights. I did a few of them. Those were fun. And I quickly learned, that I was spoiled with just the camaraderie and the vibe we had on Moving Out. It was a special bunch of guys, great bunch of musicians. So I didn't, I subbed a little bit, like I said, in the Heights. There was a couple other shows I did too. I just can't remember. This is going back. John Miller was a contractor, and he put me on a couple things. But I quickly noticed that I wasn't that type of player, meaning a lot of the things that you're trying to emulate is the original cast recordings or the gentleman who's in that chair. So you almost, nowadays where there's less work, you're not going in the site reading a book. Really what you're doing is you're trying to emulate the vibe that they play with. And so that type of thing was cool, but I always, I'm not a cookie cutter. For instance, I was very fortunate. The wonderful Barry Danielian was the lead trumpet player that I subbed for on Moving Out before I became principal. And he had a fiery vibe, and he tore it up. Ozzy and John can attest, man. Barry was dealing all the time. So for me, that was easy to go. But when, some of these shows, guys playing a classical passage on C trumpet, a beautiful lyrical classical effort, and then going in and playing a pick, that's just not me, man. So I shunned away from that work. I was always playing club dates. I did a lot of club dates. I was with one office in particular for 18 years, and I bounced around with other offices freelancing. So I enjoyed doing that more because I could, the work was there. Now it's a different scene. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, it's a different headspace being on Broadway, and it's cool. I just know that that's not really why I'm playing music. I didn't want to regurgitate the same thing 8 shows a week. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm a people person, and I like different things, and I like trying to play different styles that I think I can play. So I'd rather do something that if I have to travel, I'd rather travel. I just like traveling anyway.
I want to hit a couple of the questions submitted by non-musicians.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Or students. First, it was, if I'm not a musician, I can't even speak. If I'm not a musician, yeah, my coffee cup's empty. If I'm not a musician, but I'm a music lover and interested in getting into touring life, what are some of the roles that I can look into?
A lot of roles. Find a passion that you like. You like cameras, get into the video end of it. ScreenWorks is a company. They do all the video work for the video screen work. camera operators. You know, if you like audio, you know, one of the best companies in the touring country, I think, is Clare Brothers. You know, if you're lucky to get an apprenticeship for a summer at that, if you're lucky enough, because the waiting list a mile long, it's one of the best companies in the country for live tour engineering. You like management, you're good organizing things like Steven is. He's a great organizer, you know, so you look into production assistants. I was a tour production assistant on Lincoln Center. I was one Lincoln Center's first tour production assistants in 1992. The first Wynton Marsalis big band tour we did, I was a tour production assistant. It just kind of fell on my lap, and I ran with it, and I ended up playing. You know, Wynton heard me play, and I played. Again, I was double dipping. I was dealing with the production end of it. I'd set up the stage, I'd set up the drums, set up all the music, set up all the microphones. You know, I kind of, you know, really learned a lot. So don't be afraid. You know, if you're not a musician, you know, see what you're good at. So between management, production, a lot of people, you know, on Broadway, and a lot of people even on tours, wardrobe. You're good with clothes. You're a good sewer. All right, so you mess with that. You know, we have a lot of great wardrobe friends. One of my funnest moments are we had a great wardrobe coordinator with Diana Ross, Phyllis, wonderful woman, and very educated and loved music, and just was a fun person to be around. Just, you know, so there's a lot of different subheadings. You know, catering. You like food. You know. Maybe you're dealing with some of the catering things. There's a lot of different niches in the touring market that you can get into. Security, you know, you bounce at a club, you're a big sucker, you know, you want to beat a couple heads, you go into security. It's a lot of different things. So just keep your eyes open, be perceptive, see what's going on. You know, it's all there in front of you. Just keep your eyes open. Oh, look at what this guy's doing. Is he with the tour or is he with the house? Okay, he's security with the tour. He doesn't have a Madison Square Garden shirt on. So he's with the tour. All right. You know, stuff like that.
All right. Hopefully that answers that one. This one was actually sent by a college student. You've talked about the importance of making things professional. What tips can you give to young...
Wait, no, it's the wrong stream.
Yeah.
The wrong guy. What are you talking about?
You're thinking Gary V. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the wrong. Wait a minute. It's the wrong thing. Sorry.
I see. What tips can you give to younger people just getting into the business in regards to this? Perhaps examples from both the music side of things as well as business-related things.
Wait. I didn't quite grasp that. So, business and reiterate the question. I didn't really grasp that. I'm sorry.
So basically, it's just the importance of professionalism in the music and the music business side of things. So, you know, like we talk about, we don't want to do a stream that just looks plain Jane. We want it to look professional. We want it to look polished. Same thing with your playing. You want to go out to a jam session and represent yourself well, you know, regardless of what you're doing.
I'm just, you know, I've been on these long tangents. I'm going to give you a very simple sentence. If you don't take yourself seriously, who will? If you're not dealing and taking yourself seriously and on a high level, trying to strive for a higher level every time you play or deal with your gig, no matter what it is. If you don't think it's serious, how is someone else going to think it's serious? So, you know, I mean, granted, I love to have fun, you know that, but when push comes to shove, you have to take care of your tasks. So, you know, professionalism and seriousness and intenseness is very important when you know, and it's also too, you know, people will say I do get intense, and a lot of people see the joking Carl. When they say the crazy intense Carl, it comes out and they're like, oh my God, where'd this guy come from? It's like almost a Jekyll and Hyde. And sometimes I have to remind myself, you can't take yourself too seriously. You know, like Stephen and I we'll talk for a half hour after the session tonight, just hang. What do you think went well? How did it go? Sometimes we'll watch it and we'll take notes. Okay, well, this went good with this. We got to work on this. We don't take ourselves seriously. Who's going to? And always trying to strive. But if something breaks, and Steven's the same way, we have a stream go down or something happens, man, we're agitated. We're pissed off.
Yeah.
I miss a note on a gig, or if I blow a phrase, or I get really agitated. And then Maynard Ferguson pops in my head, and he's laughing at you. He goes, "You really taking yourself that seriously, man? It's just music. Come on, So I always have to check myself. I was like, all right, it's just realistically. But have pride in your stuff. Have pride in the way you present whatever you're presenting, the way, it's just very important, I feel.
Yeah. Well, and it kind of ties into one of the other questions that we got. And
there's a lot of questions.
That was often it seems like musicians treat the music business, for lack of a better phrase, like musicians rather than like business people.
It's music business.
Yeah.
Music business. You can play music. I don't go to work. I go to play. Did you see that? That was pretty. Actually, what's the name of it? Instagram. Now Hear This Entertainment. I give a shout out to Instagram. They reposted something. I did an interview for them a couple years ago. It's a great blog thing. Now You Hear This in Florida here, and we did a show. And they took a quote, and it was just what I said. It was like, I don't go to work, I go to play. And that's a great mantra to have when you're going to play. However, guys, like I was saying earlier, I'll play. I don't care what you pay me, $25, $50. Oh, you want to give me a sandwich? You're not going to pay me? Okay, I just love playing. No, man. You just price yourself out. This is what you're doing for a living. You've sat in this practice room for how many hours trying to get it together, and now you're giving away, what you think is fun, and it is fun. Don't get me wrong. The work was happening prior to the fact that I got to play this phrase or I got to do this. So where I'm going with this is, you have to think like a businessman. With A, am I fun to be around? B, I can't be fun all the time. There has to be a time when, when I'm in the studio. Actually, I got my first session next week. I'm excited. I haven't done a session in a while. When I'm in the studio and that red light comes on for record, there's no time for fooling around. You gotta play, and so those are the things. They always can't be great. You always can't be fun. You have to get things done. And the biggest business part is guys selling themselves short. It's arts and music, culture. It's been for years they undercut. Can't say this enough. So many guys undercut each other. I'll do this for this. Well, I'll do this for this. There has to be a value. There has to be a perceived, perceived value that they're getting for what they're paying you, because someone's paying you to play. But they don't realize that takes so many hours to not even master it, just to get it under your fingers. And that's, it takes, what is that old thing? 10,000 hours for, or 100,000 hours for mastery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, huh? And I'm sorry, but the trumpet, you're never going to master. It's always going to make a fool out of you. Some days you're a hero, some days you're a zero. It's just part of the course with the makeup, with playing a brass instrument. There's a lot of variables. So hopefully that answered those questions.
Yeah, and that's not even mentioning the other side of it. I mean, you were really focused on the playing aspect and and some of that stuff, but also a lot of the stuff that I throw your way, like the stuff that you have to deal with. Like I have a project management software that I make you deal with, and throwing ideas in there.
I haven't dealt with it in a while because there's nothing to manage.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Different things
That's a
like
good
that.
point.
I mean, we've got email programs that are tracking when things go out and when people see things and when they reply to them, and you've got the online stores, and you've got the streams that we do, and the software that we have to learn in order to do that, and then the technology of pulling all that together. So it's not, you can't just be, I don't want to say it, but I in my mind, I don't think you can just be a trumpet player anymore. you have to kind of be your own manager, so to speak. You have to be your own, motivator. You have to be your own technology person to a certain extent. You
Sure.
know, at least enough to know how to get the additional help that you need.
It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I was just looking from the player's point, but yeah, I mean, the Fish Music, corporation that we have, I hate to use the term too, but like, you're jack of all trades, master of none. You wear many hats. You know, I say this in my clinics and schools. It's like you have to do a lot of things well, because there'll be. Look where we're at right now. There's no live performances right now. So what are we doing? I'm trying to record. We're trying. I'm trying to work on different mouthpiece designs. Work on different things with horns. Flugelhorn lead pipes. Working on. What we've been working on with the live streams. Have the band do a live stream. Always. And then setting yourself up that way to be successful. Yeah. So you almost have to look at the people that have done it before, and if they haven't, then you kind of, in Steven's boat, you kind of have to chart that territory, like Steven has done. With there's no template for this particular software program I'm using. Let me build it. So you have to kind of have a lot of olive branches, so to speak.
Yeah, a lot of different irons
in
the fire.
For us, I'd love to be Arturo Sandoval and Chris Bodie and those guys and go out. Those guys are wonderful. I'd love to be able to just go out and do one thing. Not that Arturo does a lot of different things, and so does Chris. But I'm saying, you think of Chris Bodie, he's playing a beautiful lyrical thing, and that's what you think. You don't think, hey, he's on a stream, or he's making a mouthpiece, or he's writing a book, or whatever. You don't think that. I don't think that.
A lot of moving parts to it, but it's good though, because it keeps it interesting too. I think
never a dull moment, right, Steven?
Yeah, I mean what we've been doing this for, just the stream, for 17 weeks now, and it's not just a 2-hour thing on a Tuesday. It's planning and setup and this and that, but I don't want to harp on it. So. Yeah,
it's a 3-day turnaround.
Yep.
The busiest is a 3-day turnaround. But yeah.
But we're actually 2 hours 5 minutes right now. I don't want to keep things going too late. I've got a ton of additional questions though, and I think that what we do is maybe what we do is we save a whole block of these for another time, and just kind of have them in the can and answer them as we go.
Let's hit a couple pertinent ones that are time specific.
Yeah.
Or that you think that we that are kind of spin the wheel, man. See what you think, and then we'll save. I'm good. If people are still here hanging, that's great. I don't want to keep you either. If Carson's around, if Carson's around and he has a question, great. If he's not, no big deal either. Whatever you want to do.
Yep.
However you want to do it, I'm good.
I'll give you a couple of the comments from everybody that's hanging out, and I definitely appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat and submitting your questions and comments. It's you guys are just as much, if not more, of a part of this than we are. So
make it for us.
Yeah,
without them, that would be you and me, and
that would just be,
we're tired of each other.
Yeah, that would just be normal.
It'd be a normal daily occurrence.
Yeah. I keep trying to say the stream is down when he calls, but it doesn't work.
He's calling again. What does he want?
Yep. Let's see. Chris Farr says he'd love to join us some night on one of these.
Come on, Chris.
Yeah, love to.
Bring it on, brother. We'll get you a phone call and we'll figure out when you can come over and hang with us.
Yeah. Michael Nordal from Ruth Eckert says you were sounding great when you were. I'm assuming it's when you were playing Caruso. I think is when that comment
Mike.
came in. Thanks for that, Michael. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. I heard you moved. I heard you got up and moved out of St. Pete.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went over the bridge. He's over there somewhere. He went over the bridge. But we wish you luck. I've been keeping an eye on you, man. I know you're doing well. God bless you.
Cool. I think Jake Tiller is hanging out with us tonight. Daniel Falcone hanging out with us. Love
Las
hearing
Vegas in the house. Danny. I can show Danny what I got.
What you got?
I'm going to geek out for 2 seconds now.
All right.
Danny will get a kick out of this. So, Dan, I started a Queen On collection. I seen that you posted 6 that you got. But this is a late 70s Queen On I ran into. And silver plate. But, man, I talked about this on the stream. I've been digging these. All my Queen Ons now, I have been getting the GR Charlie Milk custom lead pipe. GR's been making these for me, and these horns. It just changes the pitch. The pitch is negotiable now. And this horn was quite a bit funky on the pitch. But, man, so yeah, I'm on this Queen On thing, man. I just kind of, what was that ballad I was playing earlier? Shit, I don't even remember. No, that's that Wayne Shorter tune. That's a Wayne tune. Steven, I remember the tune I was playing? Shit.
Before we started, I don't.
My Foolish Heart. I played the first head, and it was just kind of messing around. But so this is that lead pipe on the Queen On. Here's an older Queen On from the 40s with the same GR pipe. Horn's darker. Definitely a darker sound.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just kind of went. So that's My Foolish Heart. That's one of ballad that I just hacked. I love that tune. I haven't played that in probably 5 years, but yeah, man, these things are fun. I'm really digging them. So I know Danny's a great trumpet player, collector in Vegas, monster. Yeah, so I'm on this Queen On kick now. Okay,
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Went off.
that's cool. Thanks for hanging with us, Daniel. Noah says, as a young musician who is aiming to make it in the industry, all this was very helpful. Awesome to hear, Noah.
Thank you, Noah. Good luck to you.
Thanks for your. We're gonna have to get Noah a pen. I think this is his 17-week pin. with the hang.
Gets to 20, he gets a gold watch, I think.
Let's take it easy, all right?
Might be a Seiko, I mean, or
Oh, a calculator watch from
Casio.
Walmart, yeah. No, it comes on the stream. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, let's see. Got a couple last comments here, and then we'll say goodnight to everybody. Keith Dunton, he asked the questions about some of the road insight. Says thanks for the comments there. Rick Langelier is asking if you ever got the chance to play with Bill Chase.
Nah, I wish I did. Bill was gone way before I was playing professionally. Was it 71 he got in a plane crash? It was in the early 70s. No, actually it wasn't 71. No, it was, I want to say late 70s. Yeah, no, Bill was a freak, man. Loved to chase stuff. I never got to play with him. I did, however, meet his wife and his... No, let me rephrase. Was his wife? His wife and daughter? His daughter. His wife and daughter came out to a Maynard show in upstate New York and hung with us. And it was like, man, we had a great hang. Really, really nice people. And we talked, so they told us some great stories about them. I wish I could remember. I have a picture of them somewhere. It was a great hang. This is going back years, but no, I never got to play with Bill. Maynard loved Bill Chase. Maynard had a great story. I'll tell you a quick Maynard anecdote. Bill Chase, when Bill Chase was on Maynard Ferguson's band, talking about tour buses, Bill Chase was such a health nut, eating right and working out. He bench pressed like 400 pounds. And he got to the point where he couldn't find gyms on the road that he liked that had enough weight. So he would travel. Occasionally, he would take his station wagon and fill it with his weights and nutritional stuff and follow the bus with his station wagon, work out. So that was a Maynard story through Bill. He loved Bill, and Bill was great. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Two left here. Michael Mochman says it's great sitting and listening to you tell stories and talk about different shows. Thanks for hanging with us the whole night, Mike.
Mikey, miss you, buddy. Let's go eat some food.
Yeah, right.
Some food. So, La Scarola.
Yeah.
La Scarola.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, man. We need to hang with you, Mike. La Scarola. Eat some pasta.
Yeah.
Miss you, brother.
And I'm gonna give the last word from the chat tonight to Len Ramsey. Len says, awesome hang tonight. Love the discussion and hearing about business and tour life. These are things the average person has no idea about. Thank you both.
Our pleasure.
I'm going to wrap up the chat with Len's comment there. I'll say thank you from my side for everybody hanging out tonight. And you've got the subscribes and the notifications if you want them. Share the stream out with people so they can hang with us next time. Thank everybody for the comments and the questions. And I will turn it over to Carl for the last words of the night. You guys take care.
Looking forward. Thank you, Stephen, for taking care of us as always. We appreciate the
man.
hang. Make it happen every week. Speaking of every week, we're going to have some new guests. So please tell your friends and family and even people you don't like to come on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock and hang with us. Because without you, there's no us. So I appreciate you guys coming. And be nice and strive for tone. See everybody soon. Next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Thank you.
Mr. Carl Fischer.